what it comes down to is maybe the personal timeline. Med school is 4 years, and then if you decide to do an MPH concurrently, you'll have to take off time either in between or maybe after residency. So I think it's really up to you. In terms of working in international health, I think it also depends on the experience level of the person. Sorry, I don't know if I feel like that might not have been super helpful, but I think also the med school people could also give a really good perspective on this, knowing how life in med school is too.
Ron, John, anything to add?
I would only just say that you could potentially save a year by doing med school than MPH. Your MPH probably won't be as rigorous because most schools are usually 18 months to 2 years, unless I'm mistaken, if you just do like a standalone MPH. Just sort of anecdotally, there's a good number of kids in my class that did an MPH at BU and then are doing their med school now. And I would say, at least for most of us, I think the MPH is very exciting. Like everything you learn, all the classes are pretty interesting. And then when you go to first-year medical school, it's like science-based, like basic science. So like hardcore physiology, renal system, like all these things. And so compared to the MPH, it's probably not as exciting. And so I think they've had a tougher time potentially, just sort of making that transition. But I think Divya said it correctly. Like it's really what up to your discretion. For some people, it's like the MPH can really inform your work and what you want to do in medical school, or vice versa. So, but that's just sort of from what I've talked to people that I know. So.
Yeah, and also just something really quickly, there are plenty of doctors, like actually practicing doctors who are going back to school and doing their MPH. Because I know some people who are taking MPH classes now who are medical students, and they're saying they have, one of my preceptors is doing her MPH now at Northwestern. So it's definitely possible to wait and then, practice and then go back as well.
That's a great point, Ron. We're going to skip to a question from Sagar. He has relayed that he's found he's encountered some difficulties in finding places to work after college. He indicates that many require great qualifications, and he's looking for just general advice on resources that you have found useful to look for options such as post-bac type, that require a post-bac type of a qualification.
I can take this as Christina. Also, I just wanted to let everybody know that we will be sending out a resource guide after the call to all the participants that Brian has helped us put together, and we will have some links that should actually help you find some possible job resources. So that's part of the answer to the question. But I think, when I graduated from college, I think a lot of times you get discouraged when you look at the job qualifications and you see, oh my gosh, like that looks like a perfect job, but I have to have been in grad school and have 10 years of experience. And I think, a lot of times what can help is you can either you can call the company, the organization, and talk to them about what other jobs they might have, because not all organizations really post all of their jobs, even though you'd think they would. You can still do I think what's really helpful is doing an informational interview. For instance, the way I got my job is I met with our policy director and was just talking to her about health policy in the United States because I knew her through somebody else, and she started talking to me and asked for my resume, and 2 months later called me and said, we want to recruit you to come and work for us. So something that you would never know is going to become a job can become a job. So if it's an organization you're really interested in, call them and ask for an informational interview, or and send them your resume and see if they may have a position, or if you're passionate enough, and a lot of organizations can see that passion, they're going to try to work with you or help make connections. And if nothing comes out of it, it's still a really great connection for down the line. So I guess my advice is not to get discouraged by those requirements, and then also to look at some of the resources that we'll be sending out after the call. And I hope that helps answer the question. I don't know if anybody else wants to add something.
I can jump in and just add something to that. Yeah, Christina, I think you're right on. And I think sort of a different aspect of that would also be, not to say lower your standards, but lower your standards. I know when I was looking at jobs, it was really tempting to sort of think about what I wanted to do, like, you know, with my life, and finding a job that fit that perfectly. And if you can do that, fantastic, and you'll learn so much about like what your next steps should be. But I'd also really encourage you to think, kind of break it down a bit and think about like what exactly you're hoping to get out of your next experience, especially if this is something that's coming in between undergrad and grad school for you, that you anticipate being somewhat temporary. But regardless, I think really thinking about what skills do you think you're going to need later, or what is it that what topic is it that you really want to be well-versed in? What type of organization maybe do you see yourself working in later on down the line, or leading maybe? And thinking about maybe ways to go about getting those sorts of skills and experiences. So maybe it's not the perfect job, but it's at an organization that you think is just fabulous, or it's in exactly the topic area that you want it to be, or you'll get a lot of ownership over this one particular project that you think really might suit your skills, and you want to see if you're right about the fact that you think that you're good at this and excited about it, and you really want to kind of try it out. Those are things that you can sell later when you're going to look for new jobs or going back to grad school or something. And you can say, you know, like this, no, I don't have experience in this new topic area, but look, I've got this skill that's really transferable, or I haven't done that job, but I've worked in this type of organization, and I really have an understanding of how it works and of how it all fits together. And so I think thinking about some of those sorts of things when you're looking at jobs, and rather than just trying to find the perfect thing, because yes, it's extraordinarily difficult to find something with only a bachelor's degree that really sums up exactly what you probably want to do.
Yeah, I think Maggie's, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think Maggie's point is right on, that you have to look at your first job out of college as a stepping stone. So it is really easy to get enamored with these jobs and say, oh, wow, that sounds awesome, but you're not qualified. So you just have to find a job that helps you as a stepping stone to get there in the future. So it's good to have those in the, you know, in your foresight for the future, but you want to get some skill set that you can sell. It's all about how you spin things down the line. So if you can get a really great organization, as Maggie was saying, or a skill set or something that you can utilize down the line, or if you're planning on going back to school, if you want to look at what that first step is, or anything that is going to help you develop in your professional career as an individual, etc. So you're right on, Maggie.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. I think we're about ready to round down, but before doing so, I'm curious, guys, maybe this is something where each one of you just give a very quick response. What one piece of advice would you give to all expecting to graduate seniors, or rather soon to graduate seniors, right now in their transitions between undergraduate or graduate or vocational work? John,
I can go first.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll go first. I would just say, like, the possibilities are really endless, and probably what all of us are going to be doing, say, 15 years from now is different to what we probably think right at this moment. And so, there's so many different avenues to go. And I think, I just think, if you can think about what you really want to be doing, say, next year or in 5 years, maybe a little bit more shorter term, and just follow that passion that you want to be doing, I think in the interim, that's probably, the best bet. And then that will just, because, if you're doing what you want to do, you're going to do it better than, say, other people, and that's just going to lead to other things. And there's really, especially in global health, there's no, set path, I think, that, we should all follow. We're not all going to be, following in Paul Farmer's footsteps and, doing MD, PhDs in anthro, probably. So, all roads sort of lead to Rome in a sense, and so I think it's just finding your own road is sort of what you have to do.
And this is Ron, by the way, kind of going off along what John had said. Also, I would say kind of take each experience for what it's worth, and just really appreciate